He was a soldier who risked everything for strangers. A man who stood in the line of fire to protect lives that were never his to lose. But when the smoke cleared and the cheers faded, something darker waited for him. Not applause, not gratitude. In the place where justice should have stood tall, he was met with scorn. How could a hero become the target of humiliation? And why did one courtroom turn his sacrifice into a weapon against him? His name was Daniel Carter, a decorated U.S. Army veteran who had seen the worst of war and still chose to believe in humanity. After years of service overseas, he returned home, carrying both scars and medals. He lived a quiet life near the docks, where men worked long hours hauling cargo under the sun. To them, he wasn't a hero. He was just Daniel, the man who always lent a hand, the man who still stood tall even with the weight of battles behind him. He wanted nothing more than peace, routine, and the dignity of a simple life. But peace has a way of shattering without warning. One evening, chaos struck the docks. A machinery malfunction sparked explosions, fire tore through the yard, and men were trapped. While others fled, Daniel ran toward the flames. He carried workers out one after another, his body blistered, his uniform burned. In that moment, he was the soldier again, the shield between life and death. Dozens survived because of him. The newspapers called him a hero, but not everyone saw him that way. Whispers began. Accusations surfaced. They said he had broken safety rules, trespassed, overstepped. The same hands he used to save lives were painted as reckless. And then came the summons, a courtroom where his actions would be judged not as bravery, but as a crime. The walls of that courtroom pressed in like a battlefield of a different kind. No smoke, no bullets, only sharp words and sharper looks. Daniel sat in his uniform, the very symbol of sacrifice. Yet to some in that room, he wasn't a savior. He was a target. And then came her voice, cold, calculated. A woman stood and tore at his honor with words dressed as logic. She called him irresponsible, accused him of endangering lives instead of saving them. Each word was a blade, stripping away years of service, moments of courage, the memory of men he had carried out of fire. The dockworkers he saved sat silent, their gratitude drowned by the fear of speaking against authority. Daniel's chest tightened. He had faced death with steady hands, but here, in the land he fought to protect, he was being dismantled piece by piece. The climax came when she pointed at him, her words echoing through the chamber. This man is no hero. He is a danger. For a moment, time stopped. Daniel's medals seemed to weigh nothing. His sacrifices, his scars, his sleepless nights, erased with a single sentence. The room was silent, eyes fixed on him, waiting for his defense. But what could he say? How do you defend yourself against a world so willing to forget what you bled for? In that moment, Daniel realized this was not about laws or safety. It was about perception, about how quickly a hero can be turned into an enemy when prejudice and fear take the stand. When the gavel fell, the verdict wasn't prison, but it was something deeper, a stain on his name, a scar that would never heal. Daniel walked out of that courtroom, not as a criminal, but not as a hero either. He was a man stripped of dignity in front of the very society he once shielded. Yet his story doesn't end in silence, because his humiliation is not his alone. It echoes for every veteran, every worker, every human who has been judged not by their sacrifice, but by the color of their skin, the uniform they wear, or the biases of a broken system. And so the question remains, how many more heroes must we tear down before we finally learn to honor them?